All right, here we go. This 4 o'clock hour approaching, but right now we're not done. We'll have CJ Moore, athletic.com, on men's college basketball, then Mitch Sherman on Paul's list of the top or not so good transfer portal programs and what they've done during the offseason. Grayson Grundhaver, Sikkim365.com, recruiting analyst, also the Bearcats with Craig every Tuesday. So tell me about this journey, Grayson. Thanks for your time. Alfonso Allen from Miami Central High School. What has been the journey, and why so late in the process was he still available?
Yeah, guys, a really interesting recruitment for Alfonso. So obviously he's out of the Miami area, and it was kind of a really weird recruitment in the sense that he showed up on campus and was at the Baylor game over the weekend, the Baylor basketball game, and was sitting next to Dave Aranda. And to be honest, that was the first time I think anyone really knew just how much attention he had been getting and just how much the staff really liked him. And he was on his official visit at Baylor, got to go to the basketball game, like I said, really enjoyed the visit, and ended up, obviously, I mean, he's already signed. He's going to enroll early. So it was a really quick change for his recruitment. But I think the other spectrum that we have to look at is the fact that this was a guy who, at one time was a top 100 player. He's got, I think, like 40 offers. I mean, massive offers. When you look at his offer list, it's just really incredible to see the teams that Baylor, I guess you could say, beat out to land him. When you're talking about Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, many, many others. But he kind of, lost some steam in his recruitment, lost his ranking, has fallen on 247 all the way down to a 3-star. But Baylor believes in him, and obviously getting him on campus and being able to see a guy who's as talented as Alfonso is, I think it's just a great pickup. And Baylor needs defensive backs, and so to go out and find one this late in the cycle who really is extremely talented, just had a weird recruitment, moved schools 3 times in high school. That doesn't help your recruitment either. So a lot of question marks there, but I think at the end of the day, Baylor felt great about answering all those question marks and feel like they have, a really, really talented player in this class.
Well, Miami Central High School, Grayson, is not a bad place to go when you're looking for players.
Or any school in Miami.
Yeah, but Miami Central in particular. Yep. Just recently, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Freeman, let's see, and Willis McGahee would be names that people would know very well.
Yeah, really, really talented area. I mean, and like you said, that's a very prestigious high school, and it has been for a very long time. So, yeah, like you said, very talented. He was only there for a year because he was at 2 other schools prior to that. But, yeah, very talented guy, and hopefully he can add to that list because if he does, he's going to make quite an impact at Baylor.
What does this mean in regards, Grayson, to Kamari Terrell? Is this a sign that he's probably headed to Oregon, which seems to be the hot team for him now, or would this have been a move they would have made regardless of Kamari Terrell and how they felt about him?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And for me, I think the answer is that they would still take Kamari Terrell. And I think a part of that is that Baylor's been looking at the transfer portal for cornerbacks. They're trying to solidify that position. And I think just looking at Alfonso Allen, I don't think he projects the cornerback. His size, I just don't think is quite what they're looking for that position. I think he's definitely more of a safety, likely a boundary safety or the star position. So when I talk about boundary safety, I'm talking about the Christian Morgan spot. And of course, star would be Jalen Petrie. I think he's going to fit into one of those positions likely. So there's still a need at cornerback. And Kamari Terrell, I mean, yes, his recruitment has really taken off, and it looks like things are trending in another direction. And like you said, Oregon seems to be the team with a lot of momentum right now, and a lot of schools are looking at him. I mean, Alabama came down and was at Shoemaker the other day. So lots of attention for him. But if Baylor were to get him, I think they would absolutely take his signature and absolutely take him. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, and that means they're probably going to continue to try to address the position through the transfer portal and try to find a high-end transfer target who can come in and play right away. They missed on Latrell McCutcheon yesterday as he chose USC over Baylor. But yeah, they're going to continue looking at that position, and I do think that Kamari Terrell could still end up being a part of this class if he wanted to be. But like you said, it seems like things are trending elsewhere with him.
Back to Allen for a minute, and there is the concern any time you see a player bouncing around. Of course, it happens, but he has been in 3 schools in 4 years, and there are concerns sometimes when that happens. Do things get kind of behind when it comes to who you are as a student athlete? I've been told everything there is okay, but was that a reason that perhaps some started backing off, or maybe his number, star, and I don't like star ratings, but I know it's a part of the deal, changed a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think the academic side, when you're transferring that many schools, becomes very difficult. And so I think that, that was definitely a part of his journey and definitely plays a role in where you're ranked. I mean, if you look across the spectrum of recruiting rankings, he's a 4-star on Rivals, he's a 4-star on ESPN, and he's right at a 90, which is a 4-star on our side as well. But 247 is the one that has him all the way down at 86, which is a very, right middle of the road 3-star. So really, they're the only ones that are behind on this. I would hope that they update his ranking just because they should. I mean, he was dropped because it seems like because of the academic side of things. And now that those have been clearly answered, I would think that his ranking should go up on 247 to, somewhere between an 88 and a 92. I think that would be fair for him. I think that would be fair for Baylor's recruiting class in general. And so we'll see. We'll see if they end up doing that now that he is enrolled at Baylor.
All right, Grayson, Craig, anything else? We got a couple other things to get to as well before we let you go. Grayson Grudhay for Sikkim 365 recruiting analyst with us.
Grayson, I saw where Connolly's Kobe Black got Oregon offered yesterday, and Oklahoma just offered Kobe Black as well. Where does he fit in Baylor's recruiting plans here moving forward?
Yeah, so he's a 2024 kid that I'm actually really excited about. He's a guy who has tons of potential. You watch him play, he's got great speed, great length, which is something that Baylor loves. And he came to Baylor camp this summer, really performed well. Honestly, he was probably the best cornerback I saw there. And for a 2024 kid to be the best cornerback at a camp, that's really impressive. And so he got the offer after that camp. Baylor's been recruiting him hard. I know that a lot of other schools are as well. His brother Corey, of course, is a starting cornerback at Oklahoma State. So there's a little bit of a draw there as well. So I think Baylor's going to compete for him. I think it's going to be a tough one for them, even though he is a local kid. But I think at the end of the day, if Baylor can continue to show what they're building on the defensive side, I think that will be really appealing for a guy like Kobe. And honestly, I expect him to probably visit this spring and probably visit again in the summer and continue to be around the Baylor program quite a bit since he lives so close.
On Kamari Terrell, I talked with Toby Foreman, the head coach at Shoemaker. That's an incredible story. We talk about Allen getting some traction late after he got a bunch early. This is a great story, and you mentioned Oregon. It wasn't Oregon or a member of that staff, a friend of Toby Foreman, and that's kind of how they found out about Kamari Terrell. I don't remember exactly what he told me, but he truly, everyone thought he was track only, and then all of a sudden now every coach in America is beating down their door.
Yeah, I mean, there's been tons of recruiting people at Shoemaker over the last week. I mean, it's become crazy. And I mean, that's the reason why Baylor, of course, was like really doing everything they could to have him sign in December. But this is also the reason that he wanted to wait. And clearly he's gotten a lot of traction. I think prior to the signing day decision, I think he had started to see that traction. And then when he didn't sign, I think that really opened the door for a lot of these schools to come in and say, okay, we have a shot at him now. Because I do think Baylor was a clear leader following his official visit on December 10th. And now, USC, Florida, Clemson, and of course Oregon have all entered the fold. And he's a great player. And like I said, Alabama was there the other day. They might come down with an offer as well. So yeah, he's pulling up. And I think it's really interesting though, because Baylor knew first. Like Baylor was the school that knew how good he was. They saw his track times. They saw his length. They saw what he could do on the football field and took a chance on him. They were the first school to offer him and really built that relationship early, made him a priority. And, sometimes things don't work out even when you do that. But Baylor did everything they could in that recruitment. And so we'll see if they're able to finish strong. But, yeah, like you said, I think connections to Oregon are a big deal. And I also think just the fact that, last schools have come in late and really shown a ton of interest in him has played a big role in his recruitment.
Thank you, Grayson. Appreciate your time, my man. Have a great weekend. Grayson Grundafer has been busy. Sikkim 365 premium section, recruitment, transfer portal, etc., and the Bearcast Tuesdays with Craig as well. When we come back, CJ